I already knew that the moment Thomas Frank pulled up in gray Nike Tech, that Spurs were going to absolutely win this game. Unless living under a rock, by now you must know that Tottenham have just beat Reading by a score of 2-0. So in this video, what we're going to be doing essentially is breaking down how the game went, what I thought was good, bad, individual performances, and also just news around the game as a whole, pre and post match as well. So of course, make sure to smash that like button. Guys, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're a few subscribers away from 600. So please do me a favor, drop a subscribe, drop a like, and let's get right into the video. Okay, so first I want to start out about what happened before the game. So those of you who don't know, news before the game was that Manor Solomon and Richarlison would actually get left out of the lineup. So Manor Solomon ended up picking up an injury. And this is bad because we plan to sell him also, or loan him out as well, either or. But we can't really do that if he's injured, so that's a bad problem to have. And then for Richarlison, he was left out of the squad due to non-injury related reasons. So this is important because usually when a player is left out of the squad for these type of reasons, it's two things. Usually the player isn't fancied by the manager, which isn't the case for Richarlison, or the most likely situation is that we plan to sell him. And of course, of those of you who don't know, is that there is a big move linked to a club called Palmeiras out of Brazil. And they're looking to buy Richarlison for £50 million. Not euros, pounds, okay? So I don't know if there's any substance behind this move or this is related to that, but we left them out for non-injury related reasons. So that seems to me that we're probably looking at selling him. And we're doing this so he doesn't get injured in the game, of course, which is very interesting. So if this is the case and he's going to Palmeiras for 55 million euros, or pounds rather, I will personally fly him out there myself so we can get this deal over the line. Because we pretty much paid the exact same amount of that price for him. So we're pretty much getting our money back. So I will legit fly him out there myself personally if that's the case. Okay, so next I wanted to have a look of what Thomas Frank's tactics look like compared to how it looked like under Ange. So the biggest thing that we saw in this game in the first half was that the back two, or the back four rather, formed almost more of like a elbow back three. So a lot of the times you had Mikey Moore pushing in a little bit more here. Then you had Udogie bombing up the left side here, which I actually made a video on this as well, and I'm glad I got this prediction right, is that I said that I figured just based off of stylistics and what Thomas Frank had before compared to what he's going to have at Spurs, I said that most likely what Frank is going to look to do is that he would have Udogie bombing up here, because he likes to have like one fullback bomb up the left side and stretch the pitch and have more options. And then he likes to have like the center back push over here a little bit, and then Romero comes over here, and then Pearl would almost be like right here. So from like a little bit of a slight like elbow back three. Then you'd have Porro from deep, essentially spamming balls in deep pause. So what we saw a lot of Porro doing is spamming crosses into guys like Solanke, getting crosses and chips up over to Johnson. We saw a lot of this, passes over to here, stretching it over to Udogie. We saw a lot of these passes going over there from Porro. So I pretty much predicted this to the T, is that we would have Porro as the long-range deep playmaker because, you know, Udogie doesn't really have that passing range. So we saw a lot of this, and I think this worked really well. I think the fullbacks had a really good game as a whole. So I was really happy to actually see this tactic being deployed. I wasn't sure how it was going to look, but I'm glad that it looked pretty well for the most part. But we didn't really create too much from it. I think some of Porro's crosses were like kind of wild. Like we saw all of his crosses end up all the way over here in no man's land. But I think once that refines a little bit and the players understand the tactics a little bit more, I think it would be a lot better. And then of course under Ange, we saw the fullbacks obviously just being in midfield for no freaking reason. The wingers out wide, Johnson out wide, and you had Porro like up here as well. Like it was just complete chaos, and we had no support at the back in these wide areas. So yeah, I'm really happy with this change. And one thing that I will say from this game that I did notice is that we actually had a lot more of defensive structure. Like there wasn't really too many times where I felt that Reading were actually really threatening us at all. Like with Udogie being up like this, and Udogie has an amazing engine, so he has the ability to track back really well. With Udogie being up like this, he had more almost not forming like a front two, but you had more playing kind of close to Solanke. Divine was kind of close as well. And Johnson was like a lot more out wide. You kind of had a lot more of a better defensive structure because you had the back three stable and set. And you had Bentancur mopping up shop and cleaning up and then start going forward as well. So I think it was a really good setup that we had here, and I wasn't really ever too worried about Reading ever scoring on us. But of course, for all of you that watched the game, as we know, is that first half was so freaking dead, man. Like I said, I think defensively we were really good. We were pretty set. I didn't really fear Reading having a chance against us at all, but the problem was that we weren't really creating too much going the other way. And Solanke didn't really have the best game either. Solanke was dropping deep a lot. Actually, let's look at the tactic board. So Solanke was dropping deep a lot, coming to pick up that ball when balls are coming in, either from Romero or the fullbacks or the midfielders. Solanke was dropping deep a lot to try to link up play. But what's happening a lot is that Solanke was getting a lot of pressure and the ball was pretty much just bouncing off of him, or he wasn't able to retain the ball. And even though the times where he would get the odd pass off and actually spread it out to whoever would have been there to receive it, it still ended up taking Solanke far out of the play. So when the ball did ever end up getting over to here, let's say like Mikey Moore over here, or Udogie out wide, where it ended up a lot, it ended up at Udogie out wide too, Solanke was dragged way out of the play, and you had Johnson kind of like over here, Devon was kind of there. You had Solanke dragged way out of the play, and you almost had to like get back up. But by the time you got back up, the play was either dead, the ball was either back here, or like he just was too marked. So I think with Solanke, I think some of it is also his movement, but also just like the tactics as well. And like he's used as a sacrificial lamb a lot, and he almost doesn't have that urgency when he actually drops deep to get back up and make an impact. With a lot of top number 10s, and I know, or a lot of top strikers, and I saw Harry Kane do this a lot. It's like when Harry Kane would drop deep, he would still have the wherewithal to dart, get back up, and actually have an impact in the box. But when Solanke drops deep, what he does is he almost kind of just casually jogs back, and he doesn't really have that threat to get into the box and like really threaten. He pretty much just jogs back and just stays like along the defenders that would be here. He doesn't really have that threat that he wants to get back up into play, which is really frustrating to see. I also want to say that Johnson struggled a lot. Johnson struggled immensely in this game. He was pretty much damn near useless. He was pretty much just doing a cardio session, bro. This guy did absolutely nothing this game, man. I was super unimpressed with Johnson's performance, and I think Johnson needs to be able to watch his back because there is a man coming up, and we're going to get right into him very soon because he deserves his flowers. But Johnson, bro, was damn near useless. He really didn't create anything. When he didn't have the ball on him, he was in no man's land. He wasn't doing anything for I honestly forgot that Johnson was on the pitch at some points. Like, it really wasn't a good look for Johnson. And the whole team, pretty much of that first half as a whole, really didn't look too good in my opinion. So, yeah. I also want to highlight the fact that I think with Bentancur, we saw a lot of the times where Bentancur was okay in the midfield, but he was a little bit shaky at times, and he wasn't really that demanding, over-exhilarating presence in that midfield. I think I saw him maybe do like a long-distance pass like one time over to Johnson, and I think one time to Mikey Moore, if I'm not mistaken. But with Bentancur, like I said, this is like one of my hesitations as to why we need a number 6 and why we might need to move a guy like either Bentancur or Bissouma on, is because they don't really have that deadly passing range. Bentancur actually did like have a really good pass over to Johnson. He did it really well, but he doesn't really use it that often. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know if he doesn't feel comfortable on it, but like he doesn't really use his passing range that often. It's okay, like it's not the best, but like he can definitely do a job sometimes. But I think this honestly just exuberates the importance of getting a proper number 6 who can distribute the ball really well, or be an absolute destroyer like a Paulinho in the midfield. So Bentancur is like in between both of those. So he's not like really excellent at being a destroyer, but he's not really excellent at being a long range passer either, which I think we saw Norgard do this role really excellent for Brentford under Thomas Frank. He was that deadly passer, bombing balls in behind, bombing balls over to the wingers, to the fullbacks. There's just balls being bombed everywhere. Pause again. Like, it was insane, bro. So I think we got to look at that 6th position specifically and figure out what we want to do there. So, and of course, another thing that I want to highlight as well is the Kinsley versus Vicario debate. I was actually having this talk with my live viewers on the live stream. Also, by the way, I'm live for all Spurs games on YouTube, so check that out if you want to. But I was having this conversation with my viewers, and I was thinking like, hey, so is there ever really a possibility where we could see a Kinski overtake a Vicario by the end of the season? And pretty much they were saying that like, no, majority of it is like, I think Vicario is the main starter and it's his job to lose essentially. So what I was arguing is that the way that Thomas Frank likes to play, he likes his goalkeepers to be able to move the ball really effectively. And we saw in this game that Kinski did a very good job at that. He misplaced a few passes here and there, of course, but I think overall he did a very good job at being an excellent ball moving keeper, and he was a very good outlet for the defenders when they had nowhere to go. So with Vicario, and we're going to get into that, but Vicario essentially was a night and day difference of that. He was horrible at passing today. He launched balls long all the like a majority of the time, and whenever Vicario was trying to like make a pass, you can tell that he was definitely struggling on the ball compared to Kinski. It just looks natural. So I think there's definitely a conversation to be had there where if Vicario's the number one. It's his job to lose. He's an elite shot stopper. I back Vicario to be a shot stopper any day over Kinski. But if Vicario's shot stopping starts to fall off, then I think we're going to have some very, very tough conversations about the goalkeeping situation. However, I think that we will see a lot more of Kinski this season compared to last season. Now, of course, we have to talk about Mohammed Kudus, because Mohammed Kudus was absolutely amazing, man. I was just starstruck about Kudus's impact on this team, and Kudus has been exactly the star player that we've needed, and I broke this down in my video on Kudus, so you guys can check that out right now, or after the video, actually. Don't leave right now. But Kudus just looked insane. It's been so long since Spurs have had a player that you're like, bums off seat, like, oh, he's looking, okay, what's he gonna do next, what's he gonna do here? But Kudus did exactly that. So I'm gonna have a look here at his layoff to Vuskovic, and we're talking about Vuskovic too. But with Kudus, he had the ball coming in here, and he took the ball amazing first touch, caressed it in, had the wherewithal to bait the defender in, and then notice a late runner in Luka Vuskovic. And Luka Vuskovic, what we saw here is him absolutely come in, and for a center back, this brother's strike was absolutely immense. Just slots that. It's almost like a striker's strike. And this guy's a center back, and this guy scores goals for fun as a center back. And Vuskovic had such an amazing shot there, all with Kudus' patience and wherewithal to be able to receive that ball, lay the ball off to Vuskovic, and Vuskovic having a nice shot. So, honestly, man, beautiful goal. And just, bro, Mohammed Kudus, man, take a bow. Take about Mohammed Kudus. I think another thing that we saw a lot with Mohammed Kudus is that we saw Kudus dropping deep a lot. Like, he would come deep to link up with Spence. He would come deep into the midfield a little bit to almost help ease the play. Like, I saw Kudus in these areas a lot, doing his own thing. And I actually broke this down in my video. But with Kudus, he's a little bit of a ball hog. But I said this is exactly what Spurs needed, because there was times where I'm like, yo, okay, Kudus, he's going to lose the ball here. But no. Kudus held onto the ball, and he was able to get past two defenders legit on him, break out, and distribute the ball over to his players either on the wing or actually he didn't really pass it back either. Like, and that's the thing I like about Kudus too. Kudus didn't really pass it back much at all. He was very progressive, very foregoing. So, man, I'm just super pumped with Kudus. I'm super excited to see like where he's gonna take us, man. Like, this guy is proper quality, and now. You have to talk about Son, because Son was very disappointing to say the least. I don't know if it's just he's a little bit rusty because he was on vacation for a bit and he's just coming back now, or he's just aging and like he's actually fallen off, or what. But Son was damn near effectively useless. He was losing balls that were coming into him, easy passes coming into him. He would try to beat his man. He'd lose the ball off onto the touchline or on the edge of the box. Sorry, not the edge of the box, the edge of the pitch. He wasn't able to get really too many balls in. He wasn't really threatening at all. He'd lose the balls in these areas a lot over here. Simple passes that he had to make was being lost. Just really bad performance from Son. And then you look at his body language as well. Honestly, he did not look like he was happy to even be there. So. There's like a lot of rumors saying that Son's not happy right now at Spurs, and I don't buy that. I just think he was just really unhappy with himself in the game. But yeah, I don't know, man. Son did not look himself, and if that's what he's going to keep putting up for games going forward, it might be time to sell. I also want to spin the block back here on Kudus as well, because the way that Kudus and Spence linked up here was amazing. So I just got to show you guys this as well. Like, this was such an amazing link up from Kudus and Spence, and I was just like, wow. Does the turn, gets past man, Spence lays off a little bit, and then Kudus has all the leisure to go in. I thought he was going to get it first time over to Son, but the defender's getting back. But he had enough knowledge to lay it back to Donnelly. Donnelly has a shot, of course. But just to watch that back again, the way that Kudus just has the ability to just wiggle off everyone, just get out of pressure, like there's no one even there, get past him, Spence helps him out. And I think this, and I was saying this on my stream, the potential partnership between a Spence and a Mohammed Kudus has huge potential. They both play very similarly. They're both very technical, very like studs over ball, roll it over type of players. They're very do-it-myself type of players as well. I think if they can find almost a little bit of a partnership, I think this right side attack can be our most deadly side in terms of attacking. Honestly, I think it could. Because the way that these guys linked up, I saw something here, man. I genuinely did. I saw something here, bro. Like the way that Kudus was able just to wiggle off pressure. Look, 3-man on him. Kind of 4 right there. If we look over here, 4 right there, but 3-man on him. He still has the ability to get past all of them. He goes. The defender comes in for the challenge. Somehow, Kudus gets by him, and Spence has the IQ to not even. Most players would probably just take it, stop the ball, you know, maybe dish it back over, do the roll and think, kill the play. But no, all Spence does is a little bit of a touch. There you go, right there. Boom. Touch. There you go, Kudus. Have it. It's yours, brother. You did all the work. Have it. And then Kudus just takes it from him. Ball is still in play. I thought the ball went out. The ball was still in play, and then Kudus just takes it and then just blams past him. This defender, I thought he was going to take the ball from him as well. But no, Kudus just gets by him too with a dart of speed, and then he's just off. And then he has all this space. I thought what he was going to do, Son might have been too far away to be honest, but I thought he was going to do, it's just the first time laid off into Son. I thought that's what he would do, but maybe the defender might have gotten there. Who knows? But, or maybe even the Lancashire there too. Maybe he didn't make the best decision here now that I look at it if you slow it down. Like he has Lancashire almost there. Is Lancashire on the side? I think so. He has Son there at the far post. Defender's kind of there though. Probably could have gotten there. But he has Lancashire there too. Was this the best decision? I don't know. But he still had the IQ to spot the late runner, which I think with a guy, if this was Madison right here coming in instead of a Jamie Donnelly, that's a goal in my opinion. So I think this is definitely something to look at in terms of the right side and how we could link up with Kudus and Spence. But I just want to give the flowers to Kudus there because wow, what a player, man. What a player. And then of course, Wendrick Vuskovic also had an excellent game. He was an amazing defender throughout this game. He had the goal as well. First game, first appearance, goal. Lovely, lovely game from Vuskovic. So I want to give the flowers to him too. And I think Vuskovic and Kudus are probably our 2 best players to be honest. So overall though, excellent game, man. I think a guy like Vuskovic has to remain at the club. Like, obviously, it's early. First game, it's a Reading as well. Like, no offense. So we have to give it time. But I thought it was an excellent game from all of our players. Kudus just looked absolutely immense, man. So I'm super curious to see, like, how far this goes. And I think the left side of attack is definitely something that we may need to look at in terms of, like, strengthening. Especially if Son's going to keep performing like that. It's not good enough, brother. So I definitely do think that we're gonna have to look at that. But overall, I think it was a good game. First half was definitely suspect, not good enough. But second half was amazing. Thomas Frank was seen doing tactical boards during the entire halftime, pretty much. He changed his formation. Well, he didn't change his formation necessarily, but he changed his tactics. He was speaking to the players, did a huddle with the players. So Frank is definitely very flexible, and we saw it in this game. We saw a first good glimpse of Thomas Frank's tactics, and I will say 100% is that defensively, this team looks so structured. I was never really ever worried about Reading scoring against us. I think Thomas Frank set the team up very well defensively, so I'm really excited for where this team's going to go, and I think we can do some real damage this season. But we just got to get Morgan Gibbs over the line, get a proper 6, maybe even a striker at this point. And then we're really talking, man. We're really talking. And speaking of Thomas Frank's tactics, you got to check out this video right here because this video breaks down all of Thomas Frank's tactics and how he's going to work at Spurs. Like and subscribe for more.